Little Red Rainjacket, an Aussie retelling of Little Red Cap by the Brothers Grimm, by Nick Little. Once upon an Aussie time, just on the edge of a beautiful rainforest, lived a sweet, friendly, though somewhat cheeky girl. Hi! Hi. Anyway, this girl's real name was Elizabeth, but everyone forgot that in recent years, thanks to the kid's 5th birthday. You see, on the other side of the lush rainforest lived the girl's gran. She was also sweet and kind, but lived alone because she liked the quiet. Still, she loved visiting her granddaughter and bringing her presents. But the present she gave on the girl's 5th birthday was the best one of all. You see, Elizabeth's mother was the manager of a local outdoor camping equipment shop. You know, the kind that sells rain jackets and Wellington boots and other stuff for rainy days. Well, Gran had once been the manager of that very shop, so she had passed it down to the girl's mother. Elizabeth was told when she was grown up, the shop would be given management to her as well. So every year, Elizabeth wanted to feel more grown up. On her 5th birthday party, Gran brought Elizabeth a lovely little rain jacket, all the colour of red. It fitted Elizabeth like a glove, and amazingly seemed to grow with her. Ever since, the people in Elizabeth's neighbourhood gave her the nickname of Little Red Rainjacket, or Red for short. And Red would like it if we kept calling her that for the remainder of the story, so sure, we will. At the start of this adventure, Red was now 7 years old, and a half. Oh yes, and a half. But Red insisted that she was a big grown-up girl now, and couldn't wait to be given ownership of her mum's shop. Unfortunately, the shop was in recent years going under. Other outdoor camping equipment shops were rising up, and they were getting far more customers and much more money. Profits for Red's mum's shop were going down, and some workers there even quit their jobs. Mum did her best to cheer Red up, but she had suspicions that her shop would one day have to close down. There was only one support manager left in the shop, and that was Arthur. Arthur was an old cat that had worked with Grandma before. Red didn't want to admit it, but she wasn't exactly the fondest towards him. The reason for this was that Arthur was mute, so Red found it very hard to understand anything he wanted to say. Red's mum understood Arthur much better, thanks to her age, and she did her best to try and teach Red. One fateful Saturday, Red, her mum, and Arthur were bustling about the shop as usual, when there came a ring at the door. Red's mum opened it, and there stood Mr. Ranger, the local rainforest authority. He tipped his hat.
"Morning, Mrs. Red. Arthur, Little Red."
Red was delighted. She loved Mr. Ranger. "Hi," she said, running up to him.
"Just paying a visit to see how profits are doing," he told Red's mum.
Red's mum sighed. Thanks for coming to visit. I'm afraid it's not looking too good. You're the first customer we've had in weeks."
"So sorry to hear that. I wish I could do something," said the Ranger.
Then his face brightened.
"I just remembered. I read today in the news there's going to be a big expo for tourists this very afternoon. Multiple businesses will be there showing off their newest products."
"Really?" said Red's mum. "Oh, that's great," said Red excitedly. "We could show off our products there."
"Just what I was thinking," said the Ranger. "Maybe it could spark interest in this shop again."
Red's mum was delighted. Then her face fell. "Oh, what's wrong, Mum?" asked Red. "Oh, I just remembered this very afternoon I was supposed to bring my mother her usual lamington at apple juice," said Mum.
"Can't she get it herself?"
asked the Ranger. "Gran has a big cold." "Oh, Gran has a big cold," explained Red. "She has to stay in bed for a whole week." "I was going to deliver her these groceries in just half an hour," said Mum. "How long will the expo go for?"
"Only a few hours," sighed Mr. Ranger. and I'm so sorry to say there won't be another expo for years. This might be the only chance to boost your sales."
"But I promised Gran on the phone her food would be coming today," said Mum sadly.
"I wish I could deliver it for you," sighed Mr. Ranger, "but my boss insisted I be present at the expo in case of a riot. Could Arthur go?" Arthur perked up.
"I wish he could," sighed Mum, "but Gran might not hear him when he comes to her door. No offence, Arthur, but Gran might not be able to let you in without hearing you."
Arthur nodded in understanding. All three sighed.
Then Red had a wonderful idea.
"I know, I'll take the food to Gran's. That way you can be at the expo and Gran can still get her food."
"Oh, thanks, Red, that's very kind of you," said Red's mum, "but you're much too young to go to Gran's by yourself."
"No, I'm not,"
said Red.
"It's only on the other side of the rainforest. I know the way there. I'll be fine."
"You're only 7.
"And a half."
"Well," said the Ranger, "it is only a couple walks there, and there are lots of other rangers in the rainforest. If she needs help, they'll be ready, and it would be a good way of solving our problem."
"Yeah,"
said Red. She was so eager to be independent. Red's mum thought about it deeply. "Well, I suppose you could do it."
"Yay!"
cried Red in delight. "Just on one condition. Arthur must come with you."
"What?"
cried Red.
"But why?"
"Just in case you trip or get lost."
"I won't. Can't you trust me? I'm a big girl now."
"You're still a little girl to me. I just want to be sure you're safe, all right?"
"But I will be safe. I don't need Arthur, really."
"I'm sorry, Red. When you're older, of course you can go by yourself, but just for now, I want Arthur to come with you, all right?"
"Fine,"
Red grumbled. She picked up the basket and headed for the door. Arthur started to follow her. "And Arthur," added Mum, "please keep an eye on Red." Arthur nodded, and soon the two were out of sight.
"Right, in the meantime," said the Ranger, "Mrs. Red, do you have any cork hats in stock?"
"Mum's always treating me like a baby,"
Red grumbled as she approached the rainforest with Arthur.
"I'll never be a big girl if she won't trust me with a simple delivery. I mean, does that rainforest look dangerous to you, Arthur?"
The cat shrugged.
"It's just trees. Lots and lots of trees. What is so dangerous about trees?"
Red muttered as she and Arthur trotted into the rainforest. Little did she know that behind one of those very trees a pair of yellow eyes were watching her. And those eyes belonged to a hungry, sneaky, and very greedy dingo. He hadn't eaten for weeks, mostly because of his own laziness. But now his big nose caught the whiff of something so succulent it made the word delicious look tame. And here it was, a plump little girl, his favourite food in the whole of Australia, and a small scruffy-looking cat, nothing more than a toothpick to him. So why didn't he just jump out and help himself, you might be asking? Well, one word. Rangers. The rainforest was full of them, and they all had guns. If he so much as tried to have a nibble, the dingo would be a furrog in 5 seconds. But that didn't worry him. On the contrary, he was enjoying the challenge. "After all, there's more than one way of getting a good lunch," the dingo said quietly to himself, "and a lunch earned is twice as good." So he waited, hiding behind the trees while keeping even pace with Red, who had just put on her headphones and was listening to her favourite music despite Arthur trying to tell her not to.
"Relax," Red said. "I'm just having some fun. I'm looking where I'm going."
The dingo saw his chance. Pretending to just be casually strolling around one of the trees, he bumped right into Red.
"Oof! Oh dear, sorry,"
Red said, dropping a basket, which Arthur luckily caught just in time. No, if anyone should apologize, it's me, not looking where I was going," the dingo pleasantly replied. "I hope your basket is okay. If anything's broken, I'd be more than happy to make it up to you."
Thanks very much, but don't worry. The basket's fine.
Red replied. Then she stopped.
Wait, are you a dingo?
Please, please, call me Mr. Dingo, the dingo replied. Dingo's too formal.
Oh, sorry,
Red replied.
it's just that I've never met a dingo before.
What a coincidence! I've never met you before, but now that we have met, I'd like to say g'day.
G'day to you too. You can call me Red, and this is Arthur.
Red replied.
Please don't mind him. He can't talk.
Arthur gave an annoyed frown.
Oh, I don't mind. Allow me to welcome you to the neighbourhood. How nice of you to visit, responded Mr. Dingo. At least that's what he's calling himself, so I'd better start calling him that from now on.
Oh, thank you very much, but I'm afraid we're not visiting. You see...
Arthur started waving his paws and shaking his head.
What's he saying? Asked Mr. Dingo.
I don't know. I get confused too. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm afraid my Gran's sick.
Oh, no, you poor thing! I hope it's nothing serious.
No, just a cold. She'll have to stay in bed for a few days.
Red unwisely said.
I'm headed there right now to give her this basket of her favourite food. And Arthur, I'm sad to say, is coming with me. Mum insisted he comes too.
Mums, Mr. Dingo scoffed. Never allowing their own kids independence. What's the world coming to?
Do you really think so? Oh, thank you. Finally someone agrees with me.
Arthur at this moment tried to mime to Red that she should be continuing on her way, but Red didn't notice and went on chatting.
And it's not even that far anyway. It's just on the other side of the rainforest.
Really? Asked Mr. Dingo, very, very interested now. You're sure you know the house?
Of course. It's just a single house with a front porch, gum trees above it, an old rocking chair in front. Gran lives there all alone because she doesn't like visitors. Oh, what is it, Arthur?
Arthur started pointing at Red, then did a shush motion, but Red still didn't understand. The dingo, though, did, and he didn't like it. So he said,
I believe your friend is saying he's a wasp.
Are you sure? That sounds crazy.
Well, it looks crazy too. Anyway, are you sure there are no rangers working near where this lovely Gran of yours lives?
Nope.
And your poor Gran can't get out of bed? Oh, how sad.
Nope.
Red again said without a hint of suspicion,
and added,
My Gran likes living on her own. It's just peace and quiet for miles.
What a smart person your Gran is. I couldn't agree with her more, Mr. Dingo said, trying his hardest to suppress his drooling. But really, a plan was forming in his big brain. A plan so genius, so smart, he almost didn't believe it would work. Maybe, just maybe, if he beat Red to Gran's house first, he wouldn't have to chase his food. He could just walk in and have a giant Gran burger without any worry of rangers popping in. And then, if he was patient, a small red ice cream would deliver itself right to him. The very idea made him lick his lips, rub his tummy, and drool all over. Red didn't realize what he was thinking, but Arthur did, and he started to panic. First, he grabbed Red by the arm.
Yes, Arthur?
Red asked with a sigh. At first, Arthur motioned to Red to talk with him in private. When that didn't work, he pointed at the dingo, then pointed to Red, then put his hand in his mouth. Red just scratched her head and glanced at the dingo.
I think,
Mr. Dingo replied, knowing full well what Arthur was really trying to say,
your friend is saying that gorillas are singing.
What the herring does that mean?
Red asked in bewilderment.
Don't ask me, Arthur's the one saying it, Mr. Dingo replied.
Red groaned.
Here I am, just trying to have a conversation, and Arthur keeps interrupting me. I knew I shouldn't have brought him along. Oh, well, I'd probably better be going, Mr. Dingo, before Arthur says something else crazy.
Wait, Red, just a minute, the dingo said. What exactly are you bringing this Gran of yours?
Oh, just a favourite food, Mr. Dingo. Lamingtons, apple juice. Is something wrong?
Red asked, for the dingo was looking a bit sad.
No, of course not, replied Mr. Dingo. It's just that I was thinking it was such a shame.
What is?
Red asked. That you don't seem to have any flowers.
But I do,
Red said, pulling a nice bouquet of golden wattles and waratahs out of a basket.
Oh, yes, and they are all right. Not quite as good as orchids, but oh well, Gran might not notice.
Wait, orchids, did you say?
Shh, keep it down, please. My head is ringing, Mr. Dingo said, really not wanting to draw the ranger's attention.
Sorry,
Red said, turning her voice to a whisper.
but did you say orchids?
Indeed I did. There's a huge mass of them, the Dingo whispered back.
Where?
Asked Red. Just that way. And Mr. Dingo pointed off the path deep into the rainforest. Arthur tugged Red's sleeve and she sighed.
At least I know what you mean this time. Sorry, Mr. Dingo, but I promised Mum that I would stay on the path all the way to Gran's and all the way back.
Oh, what a pity! I mean, those orchids are the most beautiful, sweet, and gorgeous buds in the whole of the rainforest. Just perfect for chewing up, I mean cheering up a granny who's feeling the blues. Oh, well, never mind, if you don't feel like it. And the Dingo turned to walk away.
Wait,
said Red. Yes? Asked Mr. Dingo, turning around and trying his very best to hide a smile.
well, how far is this spot of flowers from the path?
Red asked. Barely 5 minutes away. You can move there, grab a few buds, and be back with 5 hours to spare.
And you sure I won't get lost?
Lost? Oh, you are funny. Trust me, I'm a local. I know this rainforest like the back of my paw.
Can you at least come with me?
What? I'm sorry, darling, but don't you ever want to be independent? Prove to your mum that you're a big, strong girl who can face anything. By the way, how old are you?
7.5,
Red replied.
but soon I'll be 8.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mr. Dingo chuckled quietly.
What?
Asked Red. Arthur began panicking. What I said was 7, the perfect big age. Don't you want your mum to know you can take care of yourself?
Of course I do.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity to make your own decision. And maybe even show that cat of yours there that you don't need him one bit. Red looked once more at Arthur, who was trying his very best to tell Red not to listen to the Dingo. Then Red said,
All right, sure. Thanks, Mr. Dingo. I wish I could do something for you.
Aw, don't mention it, my darling. It's just what I do. All I ask is that you keep our little friendship a secret. Don't want your overbearing mum to find out, do you?
Of course, Mr. Dingo. I won't tell anyone else about you. Thanks again. You are so kind and friendly. Do you think I'll ever see you again?
Well, it depends, Red, on whether I'm still feeling hungry. The Dingo chuckled to himself, then waving his paw disappeared into the bush.
Oh, if only everyone was like that Dingo.
Red said as she plodded off the path and into the bush as well, dragging Arthur along in case he tried to run and tell someone.
What a wonderful world it would be.
Dun, 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 dun. At this very moment, the Dingo was racing as fast as he could, over the billabong, through the swamp, past the singing octopus, until finally there it was, exactly as Red had described it, a little house under the gum trees with a chair on the front porch. The Dingo stopped a moment to catch his breath, then ever so quietly crept up to the front door. He put his ear to the door and listened. From inside came the sounds of Gran's voice, as Gran watched her favourite programme on the TV, Old Wrestling. That's right, Mr. Mumble. Show that scrawny guy who's boss. The Dingo took a deep breath, then pressed the doorbell. Ding dong. Gran paused her show and called out, Yes, is that you, Mr. Head Ranger? I thought I told you I don't need a whole squadron of rangers patrolling my house. I'm fine. The Dingo cleared his throat, then said, in the nicest voice you could manage, Gran, it's me, little Red Rainjacket. Red? Gran asked in surprise. Why, hello, of course, I'm so sorry. I should have known you and your mum would be coming to visit. Oh, no, it's just me. Mum made me come all by
myself,
the dingo replied. What? No way! Oh, you poor thing! No wonder your voice sounds so weird. You must be parched.
Yes, but I do have your apple juice and lamingtons you were asking for,
Mr. Dingo said, for he remembered what Red had told him was in her basket. And Mum made you bring it here all by yourself? Oh, how horrible! I'm afraid I can't open the door, Red. I'm too weak to get up. But don't worry. There's a spare key under the red flower pot with the blue warrant on it. Just please come on in. The dingo grinned as he quickly found the key, turned it in the lock, and opened the door. I'll have to have a talk with your mum about this, Red, Gran was still saying. I mean, really, making you come all the way here on foot by yourself, with no brakes. You must be starving.
You can say that again, Grandma, the dingo yelled as he jumped into the house.
Gran gasped. Red! Don't tell me your mum forgot to give you a haircut too. The dingo just laughed, then said, Cowabunga! And pounced onto Gran's bed, with Gran in it. Gran gave a long and very confused scream. Ah! Then, believe it or not, but the dingo was so hungry, lazy, and impatient that he gulped Gran down whole in one swallow. He didn't even bother to chew, he was so lazy. The dingo grinned and patted his already huge tummy. So far, so good. Now how to get dessert? He took a look at Gran's wardrobe. Well, Red is expecting a Gran, he said with a grin. Why deny your audience what they want? And he flung the wardrobe door open and started scrummaging. First he found a scuba suit with a snorkel. Too wet. Then a wedding dress. Too ugly. And finally a nice big waterproof bathrobe. Spot on, giggled Mr. Dingo as he wriggled himself into it. And this just matches my colour, he added as he put on a nice fancy bra. What's this doing here? He wondered, as he strapped on a big sun hat. Finally, he pulled out a lipstick. Might as well, he decided as he rubbed lipstick all over his drooling jaws. Just then, his sharp ears caught the sound of small footsteps not far off outside. Just in time for dessert! And Mr. Dingo dived into the bed, wrapped the covers to his chin, and switched off the light. Meanwhile, Red and Arthur had been wandering through the rainforest all day, Red picking up every orchid they spotted until a basket was so stuffed it looked like it would burst, Arthur checking all the time that Red didn't step on anything unpleasant. Finally, Red looked down at her watch.
Oh no, she cried. It's almost sundown. Mum's gonna kill me.
Luckily, Arthur knew the rainforest by experience, so that he soon found the way back to the path, Red following behind.
I knew it was this way,
Red grumbled as she reluctantly followed Arthur back to the path.
I was just making sure Arthur remembered the way too.
At last, Red and Arthur approached Gran's house.
See?
Red said in triumph.
We made it! And nothing happened. Told you we could pick some orchids without Mum knowing.
And Red marched up to the door and rang the bell. Yes, came a small, weak voice from inside the house. Arthur raised an eyebrow. That doesn't sound like Gran, he thought. But Red cheerfully said,
Gran, it's me, Red. I brought you shopping.
Red, my delightful young lady, the voice replied. You really came to see me?
Of course,
Red replied.
Is the door open?
Of course, come in, both of you. Red happily turned the handle and was just about to step inside when Arthur grabbed her.
Ugh, what now, Arthur?
Red sighed.
We're at Gran's house.
Arthur pointed at Red and himself.
Yes, there's both of us,
Red responded.
What's your point?
How did Gran know I was coming too, and not Mum?
And why did Gran just leave her door open? Arthur tried to say, but Red just groaned.
Don't you want to come inside?
Arthur shook his head.
Well, I do.
Arthur shook his head again.
Why?
Arthur pointed to the door, then stretched his claws and gnashed his teeth.
Arthur, I've had enough of this,
Red said angrily.
If you don't want to come inside, fine. This way I can finally prove to Mum that I don't need you.
And she kicked herself free of Arthur, rushed into the house, and slammed the door behind her, right in Arthur's face. Poor Arthur.
Sorry about that, Gran. Arthur's just been acting weird all day,
Red said as she stepped into the bedroom.
If only he could talk like a proper cat. It's just so...
Then she stopped.
Gran, why is everything so dark?
A small cough came from Gran's bed.
Sorry, could you come a bit closer, love?
The voice said from the figure wrapped in Gran's bedclothes.
I didn't quite catch that. What I said,
Red said, as she went right up to the bed where her Gran lay,
was why is everything so...
She broke off. She had caught a glimpse of an ear poking out of Gran's sun hat, and when she touched it, the ear felt incredibly hairy.
Gran, what pointy hairy ears you have?
Red asked.
Oh, do I? All the better to hear your lovely voice with my darling,
came the voice. Then Red spotted a big yellow eye peeping out at her from under the sun hat.
Gran, what bulgy yellow eyes you have,
she said.
All the better to see your cute face with my darling,
came the voice. Then Red looked down and saw what she thought was a hand poking out of the bedclothes. When she touched it, the hand felt very prickly and wet.
Ew, what wet prickly hands you have, Gran, she grimaced.
All the better to tickle you with, my darling, the voice said as the hand shot up Red's armpit and started tickling.
Stop, Gran, stop,
Red giggled, and then she froze. There, under the sun hat, between two lipstick-covered lips, were two sharp, white, long, and incredibly smelly canines.
Gran,
Red said, so scared she couldn't even move.
What big, long, sharp, and smelly teeth you have. 2 things, dear, the voice responded. 1, rude, and 2, all the better to
eat you with, my darling! And with a loud laugh of triumph, Mr. Dingo threw off the bedclothes and pounced onto poor Red. Red barely had time to even scream. And then, can you believe it? Mr. Dingo had for the 2nd time in a row swallowed his food whole. What a record! He said to himself as he patted his very swollen tummy. I wonder if Gran's TV has a world record show. I'd love to enter the competition. And he switched on the TV and started flicking through channels, looking for a world records program. But the more he looked, the sleepier he got, until finally he lay back in Gran's bed with the remote in his hand, snoring so loud the TV shook. All this time, Arthur had been forced to listen to this horrible scene while frantically trying to open the door. I couldn't say this before because then the dingo would have eaten Arthur too. Arthur gave a silent thank you to me. Then, as soon as he heard the dingo snoring, turned and ran. He ran all the way through the rainforest, over the billabong, around the swamp, past the singing octopus, and did not stop running until finally he came back to Red's shop. By this time, Red's mum and the ranger had returned from the tourist expo. Unfortunately, they had failed to get any customers interested in the shop's products. I'm sorry, Mr. Ranger said to Red's mum. Never mind, she replied. Thanks anyway. We did our best. I'll just have to start a new business. At least we tried. I'm not looking forward to when Red comes home and I'll have to tell her the bad news. Still, at least... Arthur! Arthur came bounding right in front of Mum and stopped to catch his breath. Arthur, what are you doing here? Where's Red?
Arthur started to mime again, making snapping sounds, rubbing his belly and pretending to put on glasses. Mr. Ranger didn't get it exactly, but he knew something was wrong. Mum, meanwhile, understood perfectly. "We have to get to Gran's house, now!" And she and Arthur ran out the door.
"Wait for me!"
shouted Mr. Ranger as he started off behind them. Oh, his shift had ended and the crowds had all gone home, so he wasn't needed at the expo anymore. Mum, Arthur, and the Ranger ran through the rainforest, over the billabong, around the swamp, into the singing octopus.
"Sorry,"
said Mr. Ranger. The octopus just waved politely. At last, the three of them arrived at Gran's house. From inside, they could hear loud, very annoying snoring.
"Is Gran having a nightmare?" wondered Mr. Ranger.
"That's not my mother's snoring," Mum said, and she pushed open the unlocked door. The three tiptoed inside, and there they saw, snoring like a jackhammer, the dingo in Gran's bed.
"Are we in the wrong house?" asked Mr. Ranger.
"No, he is," said Mum.
"But where are Red and Gran?"
Arthur just pointed at the dingo's big, bulging tummy. At once they guessed what had happened. Mum collapsed to the floor, tears rolling down her face.
"We're too late. I should have gone with Red to Gran's house myself."
Red's mum sobbed.
Arthur cried too, shaking his head and pointing at himself. "No, if anyone's to blame, it's me. I should have let the other rangers guard Gran's house," said Mr. Ranger as a tear went down his face.
Then he took out his big shotgun and aimed it right at the snoring dingo's head.
"At least I can make sure this never happens to anyone else again."
But Arthur jumped up at once and leapt in way of the gun, shaking his paws and head.
"You don't want me to shoot? Why?"
Arthur pointed at the stomach again, and then they saw it was moving, as if someone was trying to punch their way out, which was exactly what it was. Red's mum's face brightened as they listened deeply and heard small voices.
"Let us out, you flea-bitten puppy!"
one voice was saying. "Enough, Red, we've already tried," another voice came.
"They're alive,"
said Red's mum.
"The dingo swallowed them whole."
"But how do we get them out?" wondered the Ranger.
Arthur then opened Gran's drawers and pulled out a pair of scissors.
"We give the dingo a haircut?"
asked Mr. Ranger. But Red's mum knew what Arthur was saying. She grabbed the scissors, marched straight up to the dingo's tummy, and started to cut a hole, making sure not to hurt anyone inside. Warning, Red's mum was a trained professional. Please never do this on a real dingo at home or in the wild. No dingo will thank you for it. Instantly, Red's head popped out, followed by the rest of her. Then Gran popped out too. They're okay, apart from being covered in dingo saliva and old chew toys. Red hugged her mum and Arthur and the Ranger and jumped for joy.
"Oh, thank you, thank you. I thought I'd never see daylight again."
Red and Gran then had a long bath each, and were soon dressed in new clothes. Finally, Red explained the whole story. When she finished, she gave a look of regret.
"I am so sorry, Mum. And especially to you, Arthur. This is all my fault. I should have listened to you and not that horrible dingo. This never would have happened if I had paid more attention to you, Arthur, and not been so rude to you when you were just trying to help me this whole time. Can you ever forgive me?"
Red's mum and Arthur gave Red a big hug. "Of course I forgive you," said Mum. "I'm just happy you're safe."
"I just wanted to seem independent,"
Red sniffed. "Well, I don't think it was independent to do exactly as the dingo told you," put in Gran.
"I know,"
said Red.
"I also wanted you, Gran, to enjoy the orchids."
"Of course I love the orchids," said Gran. "But I don't care if flowers came from the rainforest or from the shops or even don't come to my house at all. It's you I always look forward to seeing." Red's face beamed. "Of course I want you to be a big girl, but I also want you to be sensible and safe. That's why I wanted Arthur to come with you," said Mum. Red looked down at Arthur, who was blushing from embarrassment at Red's hug.
"From now on, Arthur, I'll always listen to you no matter what,"
Red said as she gave Arthur a kiss. Arthur turned red himself as he smiled up at Red. "And I will teach you to understand him from now on." "I should have done that better before," said Mum.
"Thanks, Thanks, Mum.
Excuse me, said Mr. Ranger. Sorry for cutting this lovely moment short, but what are we going to do about the dingo?
Everyone looked at the dingo, who was still fast asleep in bed. Red turned to Arthur and asked him what they should do. Arthur lay flat on the ground and started floating. Red at once understood.
Are you saying we should put something into the dingo's stomach?
She asked. Arthur gave a nod.
Yes, and I think I know what it is.
And Red ran to Gran's wardrobe and took out her old inflatable raft with the long string at the end. Now that's being independent, Red, Gran laughed, as Red stuffed it through the hole in the dingo's tummy. Then Gran took out her sewing kit, and soon the hole was completely stitched up. Finally, Red started tapping on the dingo's face.
Wakey, wakey,
she said.
The dingo slowly opened one eye. He muttered. Oh, tell me about it tomorrow, Red.
Wait! Red! Shouted the dingo, sitting up in bed. Gran! Arthur! And 2 other people? Mr. Ranger pointed his gun at the dingo. The dingo held up his arms in a panic. There must be some mistake, he stammered.
Oh, yeah? Then what's that in your mouth?
Asked the ranger. The dingo felt around in his jaws, pulled the string, and whoomp! There the dingo lay, puffed out like a pufferfish, with the inflated raft inside him. In a panic, he started to flail around on the floor, trying to get to the door while everybody else laughed. Finally, the dingo got so scared, he had a heart attack and died.
Wait, really?
Mr. Ranger asked me. Yes, Mr. Ranger. If he hadn't, the story never would have finished.
Oh,
okay. Everyone was happy. Soon Gran's house was cleaned up, and Gran installed a security camera so she could see who was knocking next time. Soon, Red's adventure was known all over Australia. Because of this, the company's products skyrocketed into popularity again. So the business didn't shut down, and in fact became the most successful business in all of Australia.
You should get eaten by dingoes more often,
the rangers would joke.
No thanks,
Red laughed back. For his bravery, Arthur was given a medal, as well as 10 years' supply of his favourite food, lamington cake. Red did grow up eventually, and when she did, she ran the business with Arthur as her partner. Oh, and as for the dingo, well, Mr. Ranger didn't want to waste such a new product, so the dingo became the new attraction at Red's shop, always ready for a paddle. Oh no, the dingo's ghost would mutter, watching all this from the dingo afterlife. Why didn't I think of becoming an attraction sooner? I could have been rich by now. The end.